What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Just One More Opinion. My name is Charlie, and today I will be talking about Loki. Finally, we have come to an end with the show. All 6 episodes are available on Disney Plus, and yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I could probably talk about Loki for hours, but I'm gonna try to condense it, and hopefully I can get this in just one video, one take. But maybe I might need to do 2 videos for this. And how to begin? Well, first of all, a few years ago, when it was announced that we were gonna have Loki, the TV show with Tom Hiddleston returning, I was like, really? You're gonna do a show about a character that has died multiple times and definitely is deceased in the main timeline, just because in Endgame you did this, setting up the show, of course, but like what is there to do with the character? And that was because I thought that Loki was gonna take the Tesseract and just have fun and go around the world, the universe with the Tesseract, blah blah blah, and that was it. Well, that wasn't it, was it? No, they quickly destroyed that idea that I had for the show. It was gonna be Loki messing with the timeline with the Tesseract and the TVA technology. Then the first 10 minutes, they were like, nope, that wasn't it. Haha. You're the fool. Shame on you. And I'm glad that I didn't get it, that I didn't predict it, that I didn't predict it at all, what was going to happen. Like, I had no idea what they were going to what they were going to do with Loki in relation to this phase 4 of the MCU. Of course, as I watched 1 episode, 2 episodes, I started doing some research, because that's what I like to do in terms of Marvel stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is what might happen. And of course, some of it did happen, indeed. And I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Loki is about Loki. Tom Hiddleston is just fantastic as Loki. Like, the raw talent that this man has. If you watch the first episode and you're not taken aback by the sheer emotion that he brings to this very conflicted antagonist. He's not a villain. He has been an antagonist in 2 movies, but Loki is one of the most layered characters for me in the MCU. He has real depth. He's really a 3-dimensional character, a villain even in the first Thor, and even in the Avengers, slightly less, but still. You can see the conflict and the struggle inside him to be good or to be bad. And we've seen that from Thor to Avengers Infinity War, especially in Thor Ragnarok. For me, and I told this to a friend of mine recently, my favorite Loki moment is in Thor Ragnarok, when he tells Thor, "Do you truly think that little of me?" And Thor just says, "Loki, I thought the world of you." And that line just killed me, because in that line, not only we, the audience, but also Loki, he has a different idea, a different image in his mind of what he was to Thor, to his adoptive brother. That was just a beautiful scene, and I think that was the moment that kind of made him, like, without that elevator scene, with that moment, with that little monologue from Thor explaining how much affection he has towards Loki, but how he understands that Loki might never change. Without that moment, that elevator scene, I don't think Loki would have done what he did in Infinity War, which was sacrifice himself for Thor and for the universe, basically. And yeah, and then we have Loki, the show, with Phase 1, 2012 Loki. Of course, taken from the timeline, the sacred timeline, because of the Avengers meddling with time in Endgame, and he got Tesseract and blah, blah, blah. And episode 1 is basically, and I kind of enjoyed it, because even though it's one of the weakest, because all the other ones have bigger stuff, most of them. I'll do a ranking in a short while as well of the episodes. Episode 1 was basically give this Loki variant, Phase 1 Loki, the character arc that our Loki had in 6-7 movies. That was fun to see, and Tom Hiddleston can do it in 50 seconds. He can give us this plethora of emotions as he sees the video footage of his future memories in the sacred timeline, in the MCU timeline. Him with Thor, with Odin, with Frigga, and then Thanos. And that was just beautiful to see. I think I really enjoyed it. And of course, episode 1 also brings us Owen Wilson as Mobius. And I have only one word to describe that. Wow. I had to do it. But yeah, wow. I never in a million years thought about having Owen Wilson in the MCU. I never even imagined that. Like one of the first adult English movies that I saw was Marley and Me, still one of my favorite movies. And then I saw other like Owen Wilson films in my early teens, and yeah, to my mind, he was just one of those comedic actors that they did these family comedy films, blah blah. And I never would have imagined that he would be in the MCU, and he fit quite well. I think his character was really well written. Like Loki says in episode 5, he's good, but it's also bad. Like he's not that good, but he's not that bad as well. There's a balance to Mobius, and that was really the intriguing part about him. Like he wanted to believe Loki, but he needed to believe the cause of the TVA, all this stuff. And Owen Wilson did a fantastic job. I really enjoyed it. And of course, the friendship between him and Loki was something that we never really saw with the Loki character, like somebody that he trusted, a friend. So that was really cute. And then we have also other TVA members. We have Ravonna Renslayer, Judge Renslayer, a very intriguing, mysterious character with a hidden agenda. And then we have Hunter B-15, who is really not fond of variant Loki in the beginning, but is one of the few people that immediately, she's basically the first person that immediately thinks, okay, something is going on, let me try and see if I can figure it out. And of course that brings us to the Sylvie character, also known to some as Lady Loki, another Loki variant, female, the first maybe female Loki variant, played by Sophia Di Martino. And I thought that Sylvie was quite charming. You can definitely see the Loki aspects in Sylvie. And she can enchant people, which is something that Loki doesn't know how to do yet. And of course, Loki is intrigued by Sylvie. They develop this relationship. And of course, a lot of people started criticizing this relationship, talking about self-incest, self-cest, and all that. But I think even with what they did with episode 6, and I'm getting there. To me, it was always the story about learning to love yourself first, and even when you're a narcissist, and Loki is a narcissist, he always thinks about himself first, and he sees sees this other variant of himself. He basically sees himself in a mirror, kind of, and he sees the good. He sees the Loki that wants to help people to do the right thing, and that kind of captivates him because remember, this is still Phase One Loki. Yes, he had that moment in those moments in Episode One where he had that huge character arc just condensed in 50 minutes, but he still is Phase One Loki. He just, like, a year ago, or whatever, however much time passed, but he experienced Odin's rejection of him in Thor, losing the Battle of New York in the Avengers just really recently. And he sees this other Loki, Sylvie, doing the right thing or trying to do it. And that captivates him because he always thought inside of him that he could do some good, but people never gave him a chance to do good, to be the good doer, you know, the good guy, the hero. So he has that conflict within himself, like, I want to help Sylvie, but again, also because he knows that he cannot trust people, or he cannot be trusted. He always has that layers within him. That's what intrigues me about this character. He knows that maybe I shouldn't trust her, but maybe I need to know what I need to do, like what is happening with the TVA, who are the timekeepers, what is going on, like, is this even real, blah blah blah. And yeah, Sylvie is in this show. One of the reasons is to help Loki, our Loki, Phase One Loki, learn to love himself and to be good. Because in the way they end things in Episode 6, like, we could see Loki return in the movies as a good guy, as a good Loki, as an actual hero, and not some backstabbing anti-hero or villain. But yeah, Sylvie was a really interesting character. Episode 3 was the one that kind of made me, like, not fall in love, but like be truly captivated by her character and what she wanted to do and the way that she spoke. You could see the similarities between her and Loki, but also the differences, what tore them, like, drifted them apart in terms of their life experiences and all that. And yeah, just, like, it was a cool choice to do this, to do Lady Loki in this show. I think that was the only opportunity that they had to do this, and I think they nailed it. And I'm just gonna say it right here. I think Loki, for now, is the best MCU TV show because the ending, the finale is satisfying. It was always building up to something, and this show has the biggest consequences, the biggest setups for the MCU than any other project, any other. Of course, Infinity War, Endgame, even Civil War, like, they all had moments where you were like, oh my god, where is this going? What now? Oh, this is going to be very important for the next few movies. But this, my god. I'll get into it in a bit, but of course, you know, if you've seen it, if you're watching me, you know this is a spoiler review. I don't know if I said that in the beginning, but it is in the title of the video, so yeah. And yeah, Episode 3 for me was the weakest because it was slow. The way it ended, it didn't end on a cliffhanger because we knew that they were going to survive the Lamentus catastrophe, cataclysm, blah blah. But it was really good to watch two Lokis chat and have that sort of dialogue between them, to know where they're at, to know what they want, where they're going, where they've been, like psychologically even, and some revelations in terms of Loki's sexuality, which were really a good choice. Finally being truthful to the comics and to the mythology. I think that was really important decision that the Marvel Studios made. I hope they make more decisions like that, because diversity is important in the MCU and everywhere, really. I was kind of hoping that they were going to lean into that a bit more, but anyway. And yeah, of course, like, because of the relationship, this narcissistic relationship between Loki and Sylvie, it seemed as if Loki was falling in love with Sylvie. But even if he was, it was just the idea of Sylvie, the idea of a good Loki. Because he couldn't truly see himself 1% in Sylvie. It wasn't Tom Hiddleston's face. But yeah, I understand why people were like, ooh, like, don't do this. Don't do this, please. But I wasn't as offended, disturbed by it, because I knew what the subtext of it was, which was this was important for Loki to learn to love himself and to be at peace with who he was and what he needed to become. And then we have episode 4, and the revelations. The timekeepers aren't real, they're just mindless androids. Who is controlling the TVA? And then Loki is pruned. And the TVA, like, there were lots of nice devices that they had. Of course, like the time twisters that made, like, they changed, they made people go back in time quickly to yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not really, yeah, I don't know how to say it. But those were fine, cool. Of course, the time, those I don't know what they called, but the sticks that pruned and also did some damage, also decelerated time, like slow time. Those were really cool. They looked like a pencil, like sharp, like sticky to like stab, and then kind of the rubber side of the pencil to prune people. And yeah, like I never even imagined until the end of episode 4 that when they got pruned, they would be sent to somewhere else. I thought they were disintegrated, period. So that was quite a nice twist. And yeah, even the time loops with the time loop space. A cameo by Lady Sif, was not expecting that at all. Like, we hadn't seen Jamie Alexander as Sif since 2013. Thor: The Dark World, 8 years. As long as Kat Dennings as Darcy in WandaVision. So that was really cool. A nice cameo, and I hope she does return in Thor: Love and Thunder. Just because, yeah, this was just a cameo, a memory type stuff. We need more of Sif, a finality, like a closure, some closure at least with her character. And yeah, then we have episode 5, The Void, in the Void, called Journey into Mystery. A nice Easter egg to do with the comic of that name, where Thor and I believe Loki were first introduced. And wow. Like classic Loki, Kid Loki, Boastful Loki, President Loki, Alligator Loki, a bunch of other Lokis that didn't really matter, but yeah, classic Loki and Kid Loki especially, those two were amazing. Richard E. Grant as classic Loki is perfect casting in my opinion, and that last scene with him doing that grand illusion, like not only was the illusion impressive, but the actual real world CGI element of it, like the amount of work that they had to do digitally to create Asgard in that space for that short scene, amazing. That's what excites me about these Disney Plus shows. They can do this and still be a TV show on a streaming platform, and not a movie, big budget movie. That's really cool. And yeah, the Glorious Purpose scene, like just amazing. Like that gave me goosebumps. That was a really cool scene. But of course, most of that episode worked to understand more about the variants, to lead us into episode 6 with a better understanding of what is happening, what is the void. Like, oh yeah, we got pruned, we didn't get destroyed. What is this creature, Goliath, that is kind of pruning the pruned, basically, like literally disintegrating every pruned person or object. So that was a lot of mystery in this Journey into Mystery episode. And yeah, I do hope Kid Loki returns. Maybe he can be part of the Young Avengers team in the future. We'll see. But yeah, really cool character. Although all their Nexus events were interesting. Of course, Kid Loki killed Thor. How? I want to know. I don't remember Boastful Loki's one. I think, oh yeah, he killed Captain America or destroyed, and Iron Man got the Infinity Gauntlet, blah blah. We don't know if that was a lie or not. Maybe it was. He was a Loki, by the way. But yeah, classic Loki was another the classic Loki Nexus event was was basically the Ralph Boner of Loki, of this show. Just Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige messing with us, because after Infinity War, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, that debris, that space debris over there, it looked like Loki with the horns," and they were like, "You know what? We're gonna use that," and they did. So that was really funny. But again, with classic Loki, the idea of isolating himself, being alone, wanting to be alone, and then the moment he decided to go back to civilization because he missed Thor, like he missed his brother, and that's his Nexus event. Wow, that was really sad. But then of course he has redemption at the end with glorious purpose. That was so cool. One of the most badass moments in all of the MCU, in my opinion. And then we go to episode 6. After Loki and Sylvie enchanted Alioth, the big cloudy creature. And they go to the Citadel at the end of time. And oh my god, I was not expecting episode 6 to be what it was. Jonathan freaking Majors as He Remains, who was basically a version of Kang the Conqueror. Oh my god. And yes, this was a heavy exposition episode with Jonathan Majors just talking, but he carried this episode. He was the highlight of this episode. I loved his performance. Loved it. So quirky, so over the top, so cool, so intriguing and mysterious. And of course, this isn't gonna be the Kang, this personality that we saw. This isn't gonna be the Kang in Ant-Man 3 and other projects. Oh no. This was just He Who Remains. The Kang who lived millennia of years looking at the sacred timeline. And then of course he says, there's a bunch of other variants of me, some really dangerous. I ended the multiversal war before, but if I die, they come back. There's another multiversal war. Yes, that's what I want to see. Avengers 5, Secret Wars. Maybe, we'll see. That's just what I want. And wow, I didn't know they were gonna go that deep, that honestly with Kang in this episode. My theory, and I'm gonna put my TikTok account in the description of this video, because I'm gonna do a bunch of quick theories and comments on episodes moving forward on TikTok. It's just easier. More people watch it. Not a lot of people watch it here on YouTube, unfortunately, but I do hope I get to a bigger audience somehow, somewhere, somewhen. And yeah, my theory for this episode was that it was going to be another Loki, but it was going to be a Loki that at the end of Thor, he went through a portal, and instead of finding Thanos and leading to the Avengers movie, he found Kang, and he said, "This is the TVA, you can control it." And Kang was controlling that Loki, that another variant Loki. And then Kang was going to show up in the post-credit scene of episode 6, but that wasn't the case at all. They were like, you know what? We hinted at Mephisto in WandaVision. We messed with their little heads. Let's be real. Yo, let's be real. Jonathan Majors, go. And there we had it. My God. I cannot believe they did that. And of course, Sylvie kisses Loki in order to get that kind of, not tempad, like the better version of the tempad. And he throws Loki into the TVA. So that kiss was just a way to trick him, to lie, because she doesn't trust him. She doesn't trust that he was gonna be by her side in this, and she kills. He remains. She kills this Kang. And that way, the multiverse erupts, and a bunch of other Kangs are coming. This is getting freaky. Like, I watch these shows with my brother, my younger brother, but also with my mom, with my dad, but my dad doesn't really follow it or focus on these shows that much. Like when we went to see Black Widow at the end, the post-credit scene, if you haven't seen it, skip 10 seconds. He asked me, did she kill Natasha? I was like, my God, what the hell? But my mom does understand most of it. She remembers a lot of stuff. But she was like, oh, this is getting too confusing, too complicated. I'm like, oh, yes, but this character, this actor was playing this character who's going to show up again, but in a different version, and he's going to be the new big bad, and it's all about the multiverse. She was like, I preferred WandaVision because it was like she enjoys more, like she likes Wanda and Vision and their story, the love story, the grief bit. I enjoy that too, but I think what Loki did so well was set up a bunch of different stuff with the multiverse and with Kang. Like with the multiverse, we're gonna have What If in a month. Cannot wait for that. I was not excited before, but now that I know it's gonna be canon because of the multiverse, I'm really glad. And yeah, in August 11th, really cool. You know, it also sets up with the multiverse, Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness, really cool, and also probably Spider-Man 3. And with Kang, it sets up Ant-Man 3 because he's going to show up in Ant-Man 3. I'm still a bit curious as to why Ant-Man 3 and not another project. Maybe it's going to tie into the Fantastic Four stuff. Maybe because I hope there's going to be a connection between the Quantum Realm and Kang and the Fantastic Four. We'll see. We'll have to wait. But yeah, I think Kang was going to be the big bad of Phase 4 and maybe 5. We don't know when 4 ends and when 5 begins yet. Maybe at Phase 4 will end with the Fantastic Four. That would be neat. We don't really know. And yeah, I hope that Avengers 5 is Secret Wars, or Avengers 6 is Secret Wars, and Avengers 5 is like Young Avengers. Well, I don't know. We'll see, but really exciting. It's really exciting. I cannot wait. Quick ranking of the episodes. The worst for me was episode 3, Lamentus, just because it was good, but it wasn't as good as it could have been because it ended not on a real cliffhanger. Then episode 1, loved it. Like all episodes now are good. I loved them. But episode 1, just introducing Loki to the TVA, to all this stuff. Character arc for him, really good. Episode 2, the variant, meeting Sylvie, going into the apocalypses, Loki working with Mobius, that was all fun. Then the top 3 for me are really difficult, because I loved all 3 of them. All the last 3 episodes, I loved them. But I would have to say, oh my God, I would have to say maybe episode 4, because we do have the Timekeepers twist, but that wasn't really a twist thing. But showing that was kind of like, oh really, we're being shown the Timekeepers now in episode 4? Awesome. But it was the Loki pruning and him, then the post-credit scene with the other variant Lokis. I was like, oh my God. And then episode 6, Jonathan Majors as Kang, basically showing up. I could not have predicted it to be like it was. Awesome, really cool. But again, it was a high exposition episode. Like that was basically it. Exposition, talking. really good exposition, awesome exposition, awesome new stuff, new information, like relevant, useful information for what is gonna go, what is gonna happen in the MCU moving forward, but still heavy exposition episode. And of course, like it ends on two big cliffhangers. Like Loki returns in season 2. When is gonna be season 2? Maybe beginning of 2023. Like that takes ages. But of course, we have more MCU content in the way, movies and TV shows. So I'm not that fussed. But again, like you do have finality to this. Like we met the person behind the curtain. He remains a Kang who was really old, but he didn't look like it, and he wanted it to stop being the ruler of the TVA. And then Loki goes into the portal, arrives at TVA, talks to Mobius and Hunter B-15. They don't know who he is, so he's in a variant TVA, an alternate timeline TVA. What the hell? Where Kang, the actual Kang with the costume, with the comic book accurate costume, is the statue in the TVA that they're worshipping. So they know it is Kang who is ruling the TVA. There's no trickery. There's no timekeeper. No. But again, yeah, like that was cool, but it was a bit like yeah, it was a big exposition scene. And my favorite might have been episode 5. That it again, nothing really happened that mattered to the story. Because the question that we had in episode 4 didn't get answered in episode 5. Some of them, most of them. But like just seeing classic Loki and Kid Loki and the Void and all that, the final battle between them and Goliath, like that was, and the Easter eggs, Mjolnir and Throg, side by side, like, and all the other Easter eggs, there was a bunch of them. All that made me a super Marvel MCU fan just giggle and get giddy with excitement, and that's why I think episode 5 might have been my favorite of the show. But the show as a whole, my god, 9 out of 10. Like one of the best things that the MCU has released since Iron Man, honestly. Like one of the best things. And I can't wait to see season 2. That's gonna be interesting. Like what is gonna be season 2 about? Like another Kang, that Kang who's controlling. So maybe Ant-Man, the Kang in Ant-Man 3 is not the one controlling the TVA. Because now that's the thing. Jonathan Majors is gonna show up in all these different projects as Kang, but not as the same Kang. So that is interesting. And maybe with the Quantum Realm in Ant-Man 3, Quantum Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, they could travel back in time through the Quantum Realm and fight a Kang in the 31st century, in the 41st century, before like in ancient times when he is Rama-Tut. Like you can follow YouTube channels such as Emergency Awesome and Comics Explained to learn all about Kang and all that stuff. Like I could not explain that to you. I know that, but I cannot explain it verbally because also English is not my first language. So I cannot talk about it in great detail and explain it that well. But yeah, like, my god, I love Loki. I love this show. I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't wait to see if Loki, Tom Hiddleston, shows up in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Again, it would be cool if he did, but it wouldn't make sense because of how episode 6 ended. But we'll see. There's always hope. But yeah, the multiverse is on. The multiverse has arrived. So that's cool. That is really cool. And I hope you're enjoying it. I know I am. I hope you enjoyed this little review chat about Loki. Like, comment down below about your favorite bit of Loki or what you didn't like, and I can have a chat with you about it because I love talking about Marvel with anyone, friends, family, strangers. And yeah, also follow me on TikTok because I might be doing like Marvel theories, like 1 minute, 3 minute videos on that. Maybe I'll post them here as well, but we'll see. Like, it's just easier to do it over on TikTok. Sorry, YouTube, but it's just easier, you know. More people watch my stuff over there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. This has been just one more opinion. I have been Charlie, and you have been awesome. Take care and goodbye.